Welcome back here, folks. It's been a long time since we had like a decent episode of The Corner. On the air tonight, we got my friend Victor from Virginia, close to DC. What's up, Victor? Say hi to everybody.
Aren't you gonna mention to like, subscribe, watch your intro, buy your
No,
t-shirt?
no. Won't be an intro in this episode. You know, like people wanna listen, then they're gonna listen. Whatever. I'm not
I know,
going
but
to.
you're just missing out on all the worst slash best things that all the shittiest YouTubers have. The annoying as fuck intro, the like, subscribe, buy my t-shirt, go to this link bullshit. No
Nah,
fucking
nah,
thing
man,
going about.
nah, man. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. Because I got like 20 subscribers on this channel on YouTube, and I'm not going to pester everybody to like and subscribe to the video. Either you listen or you don't. Whatever. Um,
Yeah,
and I just
wish you
want
can acknowledge that.
I just want this, to be an episode about, talking about life and what you want out of life. So tell me, Victor, what do you want out of life?
Uh, Not to be dead for starters, I guess.
Yeah, but that's basic, and also it's something you can't really control, as you know. You could cross the street at any given moment and get hit by a bus
Hmm.
at random because you weren't observant at the time, because you had a few too many at the local pub before crossing the street, or because you
I'm in
had.
America. Pubs aren't really a thing here. You forget.
Well,
I mean, technically, you have some places that call themselves pubs, and I've never really been to them before. I can see it's kind of sort of a pub, but it's not really a pub. I mean, because you can have a pub-ish building, but you don't really have the pub atmosphere or the pub culture that America does. I mean, that other countries do, like, because America doesn't really have a pub thing.
I gotta say that, like, I would say it depends on the place, as I highly doubt that you could take a walk in Boston and not find a decent pub. Right. Or a bar for that matter. I don't really know what the difference is between a bar and a pub. Uh,
Pretty much, from my understanding, they're pretty much technically the exact same fucking thing, but a pub is like a more. It's kind of like hard to describe. It has that what's that word? I'm trying to remember what it is. It has this particular kind of subculture to it. Like it's kind of like a bar, but it's not. Like it's definitely it's style generally slightly different. It's kind of like the difference between a a typical Starbucks and like a nice coffee shop, I guess, is like the closest way you can put it, like explain it. Like technically it's still the same thing, but at the same time it's kinda not. Like I'm not exactly proficient in the matters of bars and shit in the
have
first place
you
myself,
have you
so
visited a lot of bars and pubs, Victor?
technically yes, no.
In what countries?
I mean, like here, like I have been to bars and stuff.
I mean, I've like been to several ones in several countries. And yeah, I gotta like agree with you that when I was in London and went to some pubs there, holy crap, man! They got some nice looking pubs and excellent beer brews that is like locally made and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's classier for starters.
Yeah, for sure. But it's also in London, for instance. or in England, it is way more acceptable that you head out during lunch hour and you grab a pint, right? In other countries, like Norway or Denmark, if you go to a pub during lunch hours to grab a pint, you would be deemed an alcoholic instantly, man. Like, hey colleague, I'm just gonna head over to the street and grab a pint. All right. But maybe that's like more outside the big cities because I feel like maybe in the bigger cities, the capitals, then that's an acceptable norm to live by. Um, but yeah, man, I'm missing.
It also depends on like what country you're in, because
Yeah, for sure.
not always, because in some countries, like for example, like Japan, like I guess as long as it's not during like the midday or too early, they don't have the concept of alcoholism over there. So you just get
Yeah.
toasted, or also like I think in the Middle East, there's also some places where the drinking is was also like not to look down upon.
Well, you also got places in the Middle East where drinking alcohol is outright illegal. Like if you consume alcohol in Iran, they are in their right to put you in prison for up to 3 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty mental. So yeah, it depends. In the Middle East, it would depend on like how extremist of the country you are staying in is, because you also have like more Islamist countries such as Tunisia.
Well, at the end of the day, the big question is: as long as it's legal, does the drinker give a shit?
Probably not. They don't give a shit in Iran either. I mean, like you will find underground parties or um, people just drinking there too. But it's just like just more secretly. And in Dubai, it is also kind of like semi illegal because there isn't any bars or pubs in Dubai, but the hotels are somehow allowed to serve alcohol. Kind of
I
weird,
don't
right?
know. Foreigners, I guess.
Nah, no, man. Like it is. It's just the hotels. Just the hotels are like allowed to serve alcohol, but you won't be able to like find it in the grocery stores and shit. When I was in Singapore, it was also heavily acceptable to go to a pub during midday and then grab a pint. And like they have some weird freaking system in Singapore where the earlier in the day, the cheaper the alcohol is. All right, like then the pints is like half price or less than half price. But
Sounds like something you probably enjoyed.
yeah, and well, like I'd enjoy it anyways. Like money wasn't the issue when I was there. Um, but like it was,
Especially not when it came to liquor.
yeah, like it
All
was,
all the stops are full, eh?
yeah. But like it was like so different in Singapore because like you will have some places which like probably charges up to like $15 or so for a pint. Like real fancy Irish pubs in the center of town, right? And then a few blocks out of the center of town, you will like have somebody that like would give you a full-on pitcher of beer for less than $18, right?
Like, are we talking about like those kind of like what kind of size pitcher? Like those like over a gallon kind of pitcher?
No, no, not over a gallon. A little under like a half-gallon pitcher, I would assume. Yeah, that's what it was. But still, that's pretty decent. That still gives you like a pint price for less than $5, which is like, and we're talking Singapore dollars, all right, not American dollars. And the Singapore dollars is more in contrast to the Canadian dollar, you know. So when I say $18 for a picture, then we're like probably down on like 14, 15 US.
So the question is, wouldn't it still be cheaper just to go to a grocery store?
Yeah, maybe not. And like, yeah, it would like probably be cheaper to go to a grocery store, but
You miss out on the opportunity to, well,
but
I'm not sure that
you know,
really
like,
counts anymore, but to talk and enjoy with people and have a bartender and all the other shit.
man, that reminds me, like, holy shit, man, like somehow, in during my visit for a month to this place, I was not been. It was, you know, like it was. I didn't even know I was going to stay there for a month before I asked, you know, when's my return ticket. Your your return ticket is first in 5 weeks, man. All right.
It said what?
Yeah, like, you know, like I was there, and then, you know, like my with an acquaintance, and he had like purchased the tickets for me, right? And and then I assumed I would just be visiting in Singapore for like 2 weeks, but he said to me, "Hey man, nah man, your return ticket's here, and it's 5 weeks from today, man." So holy shit, man, we're talking 5 weeks in 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and lots and lots of happy hours on pubs.
So on one hand, you're like, and on the other hand, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like mixed feelings regarding that. Anyway, like, you know, like somehow my acquaintance drags me to this place called the Cowboy Bar in quotation marks, right? Except that this ain't a motherfucking bar, even though that's the name of the place in Singapore, the Cowboy Bar, where the servants are wearing cowboy hats, and, you know, Americans are coming to blow off some steam and other things, right? And then, you know, like I'm just standing there having like a beer or something, right? My acquaintance has vanished, and all of a sudden, you know, like some girl that works there just grabs my dick, like full on, man, grabs it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then she says, "Looking for a good time, baby?" And I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? $150, baby. Fuck. So, you know, like, obviously this wasn't a bar, it was a brothel. Right.
Nothing wrong with that, but like, as long as that's what you're going for.
No, you know, like this wasn't really what I was going for. Nor do I think, you know, like it's worth paying $150 to get laid. But anyways, you know, like trying to
I guess
find.
it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, like, I'm thinking like I gotta get the hell out of this place. I don't want to like hang out at the damn brothel. Um, can't
You
really.
want March to hear about it.
No, she knows about this. And anyway, so I'm looking for my acquaintance. Can't find him. Fucking vanished like smoke. But instead, man, what I find is some drunk ass motherfucking dude who's like taller than me, some huge mofo from Kansas. And the dude's just being like a total dick, you know, like standing there pushing people, right? And asking people, you know, like, "Hey, you wanna fight? You wanna fight, man? I'm from Kansas." Like,
Toto, you're not in Kansas no more.
yeah, yeah, like, you know you're not in Kansas anymore, right? You're like literally on the other side of the fucking planet, in a
There's
country.
no yellow brick road nearby.
No, there's no yellow brick road nearby, and if you fuck shit up here, they will put you in prison and throw away the damn key, right? this guy like don't comprehend shit, and like eventually sees me heading on the way out, and then he wants to pick a fight with me, right? I'm like, I'm not fucking fighting you because I don't want to like get in problem. I don't want to get into like trouble in this country of all countries, right? Because how it is in this country is that like they don't give a shit unless something happens, okay? And like I guess like this guy might have like, gotten away with it. Anyways, like he starts some shit and he doesn't really get in a punch on me before they like this is remember this is a brothel, and brothels got fucking guards, man, right?
I mean, the bouncers.
Yeah, no, like yeah, well, I don't know, like bouncers slash something else, I guess. But they take him down, two fucking huge bouncers take him down and calls the police, and like they actually called the police. They didn't throw him out, man. They called the police. So hell no, what happens to this guy, right? um I tried to read the newspapers like the day after, but I didn't really see anything about it, which is kind of unusual. So like that was the end of the story of this brothel, man. Like like this guy, and I told you like how efficient the law enforcement is in Singapore, right? I mean,
Mhm.
like like they got their shit under lock and key, man. Like you can't, like if you drop $100 bill in a restaurant or a bar and you realize an hour or two later, that shit will still be there because like people are afraid that if you pick it, that if they pick it up, they can be charged with theft, right, and put in prison for years. So yeah, man, like a great place. Um, like the beer was like so. I didn't really taste any like like special IPAs or like dark brew stouts in Singapore. Like that was like more a thing of choice, I believe, in England on the pubs there.
I don't know. I can't say anything to that because I don't know what you mean by that anyway. So,
Oh no, okay. So like my time went on there. I like continued these 5 weeks, continued to like head up the happy hours, continued to indulge in conversations with people at bars. I like like I really found the Eastern Europeans to be the funniest, man, at this place, because they always had some fucking story to tell. Like this one dude, man, like a guy I'm asking, so man, what brings you to the end of the world? And this dude from Kiev, or like like somewhere in Ukraine, I believe he said, um, is there. And I'm asking, what the fuck do you work as, right? How did you land a job here? And the dude was like pretty much just a con man, right?
just a what?
A con man.
Oh,
Right, like he like faked the fucking CV and faked the references, and I don't know like how the fuck he had like obtained a degree in some IT tech shit. But he had like obtained a degree, probably paid somebody to to get it to him. So then he told me, like then he would just like apply for like high paying jobs with all these bullshit references and shit all around the world. And then eventually, like he would get it because said fake references and said education, right? And I asked, well, what the fuck happens when they figure out that like you don't know shit, man. You don't you don't know any coding or software engineering. But he was like, nah, then it's already too late, and they have already paid me the month's salary, so then it's just on to the next place. So yeah,
or he could have changed it up and actually been like some like I already told you about that one story a long time ago. I wish I had that screenshot I took. There was that one person that was so ironic on how it was that like fucking politician or whatever. They got fucking hired and all their shit was fake. Then they ironically did like a talk or presentation on not doing exactly what they did,
Wow.
which is ironic as fuck. It just goes to, they're just like, I just remember some kind of lady. I just remember that was such a fantastically perfect example of total bullshit. And how you didn't even, how she had like that job for fucking a while, and how it just goes to show how fucking useless all that crap that she never needed was supposedly needed for the job. But like we discussed before, that's a bunch of jobs. Like for example, you don't need to know math to be a fucking programmer. That's what you're on a fucking computer all goddamn day. Like if
Yeah,
you want
but
to know the answer to something, you can just use the computer.
you know, like the balance in that has shifted because you know, like in the 1950s and 1960s, you didn't need an education at all. You could just have like waltzed into Coca-Cola headquarters and said, you know, like I don't have an education. I only have like high school diploma, but I'm a real go-getter and I work hard for the money. May I please have a job? And you would get a job, and you would be able to, you know, like work your way up to, you know, like a corporate management gig or something, right? Uh, but today, man, the whole balance in the work market has shifted. And it has shifted in a way that, you know, that it's no longer enough to have an education. It's no longer enough to have an experience. You need to have like tons and tons of experience. You need to have like a master's degree.
You need
If
experience, a master's degree, and
yeah,
you can't get a job because
yeah.
you can't get the experience because you can't get a job because you lack experience. So nobody will give you the experience.
Oh,
The
exactly.
entire fucking circle, which is
So,
really stupid.
so you know, like I would like really love to see like a statistic on people that has like taken a college education or a university education, gotten themselves a degree that they can't use for shit, and they're still like today working some job at like a retail store or something for minimum wage or $10 an hour or something like that. I believe like you had like a story about that, somebody that you knew that like took a master's degree and ended up with a
Yeah, it
job.
was just I forget. It was like I went to it was like years and years ago when I was ordering a coffee and this person was saying how they had a master's degree in fucking something. I don't remember what it was. But they were saying how they had a master's degree and yeah, and hey, they're just like they were in a fucking coffee shop working retail.
Holy shit, man.
Oh,
That's fucked up. I'm sorry that I'm spurring here, guys, but yeah, that's messed up. So yeah, man, like maybe we will see a future like in the expanse where we are 30 billion people on the planet, and you have to stay in waiting line to get into education for 50 goddamn years. Remember that scene?
yeah.
Holy crap, man. Like, I legit believe that that's going to be the future because we we don't have enough jobs and we are continuing to, you know, like automate.
Have enough jobs.
Nah, maybe like, but then you would have to, you know, make the job yourself or start something up yourself or something, right? But technically, we have enough jobs, but they are becoming less and less because of, you know, like the automation process, like warehouses and stores, right? Will eventually, you know, like move on from human employment to get machines to do their job for them. I mean, you already have those sushi places that is like serving you the sushi, where there's like a damn robot coming rolling up to you with the sushi. Um, yeah, and you already also have automated forklifts in some warehouses like Amazon, right? That's bringing you the package you are going to ship. So I don't know, man, how it's going to look in like 50 years because I think like, you know, like all minimum wage jobs is like eventually just going to go to some fucking robot or something, right?
Some jobs really should
And
just be automated. Like
And
some jobs, I'll say, don't need people, or people shouldn't be doing them in the first place. Like you have the dangerous jobs, then you have those mind-numbingly stupid as fuck, like just kill your brain, dead end, monotonous jobs. Like
yeah,
some
but
some
still, that gives you purpose. That gives you purpose in life too, to have something because
and
if,
for dangerous jobs, like for example, fucking mining, like no one really shouldn't be down there and whatnot. So
no, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? The alternative is that you're like sitting at home, getting an unemployment check, and getting wasted on Jack Daniels every day, right? That's the alternative, and then you die at age 50, 55 or something from liver cirrhosis or some shit. And so, like, no, that's not really like a future. And like, if you, even if you're like rich man, you would like still have to find some way to make yourself feel productive, to make yourself feel like your life matters, right? And like and that's difficult when you're unemployed, because I remember, well,
like a boss.
yeah, yeah, like when I was unemployed after getting fired from my construction job, and that was like some of the most mentally challenging and depressing months of my life. Like, holy crap, man! I was drinking every day. I was like applying for jobs. I was like applying for like 600 jobs and like all rejection letters back. Uh, Before I learned that like I'm not really going to get an office job again in my life. So then I got like this warehouse job. Damn. That's some
Well,
shit, man.
I talked to you before, like a little bit. Like actually, to be honest, like I haven't fucking applied in a while. I should have been like 7 months since I last applied because I have no excuses aside from being an idiot, being a lazy piece of shit. But I guess
Yeah,
gotta be honest. I'm just
I don't,
the
I don't,
person I know. If I try again, I'll just get the same result I did last time. So
Victor, I don't think that
I
you, I,
applied to over 100 places and nothing happened. You know how fucking depressing that is.
yeah,
Just
that is pretty depressing. But like, still, man, I'm not sure that you go under the category as unemployed because you're a Navy veteran, right? So
yeah, but
you're not really cashing in unemployment checks. You're cashing in, the
but then I have to go and apply and whatnot.
yeah.
But
So you're technically not unemployed, and like it is, and I agree with you. It is like difficult AF to get a job, and especially in America where you now have 6 million jobs and 16 million job seekers during the pandemic. Like, wow, man, that's some statistics, and that's some work you got to do there. Um, I like I don't understand, man. Like you have no dream of like creating something of yourself, like a business.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't care what I will do as long as I don't have to deal with people and it makes money. I would do it.
As long as you don't have to deal with people. So could you maybe be like a park ranger, looking
If it
after,
made money, I would gladly do it.
like if you had to like stay for months on end in some nature reserve park.
So
What?
park rangers don't make shit though.
No, but you don't like like you're not in it for the money, right? You're in it for the experience. And also, I believe that you're one of the guys that would be able to live cheap AF because you would just get yourself an RV, live in that, drive around America, and live on canned foods, right? uh, but yeah, man, like it's difficult to get a job. It's not easy.
Well, like I said before, park rangers they don't get paid shit.
Well, what would be your dream job? Have you given that some thought?
I don't really know. If it paid a lot, I would gladly do it. And
What
then,
what's a lot?
now, if I fucking made millions, I don't care what I would have to do.
If you made 5 millions, I like
I didn't say
what's
5 million. I just said if I made millions, I don't care what I would do as long as it's not like
what's enough?
really ethical.
What's enough? $10,000 a year, 20, 30. That's what the first thing that you gotta get down is like what's an acceptable salary for you.
Let's say like that minimum, which is like a 40,000 a year.
Nah, the minimum is closer to like 30, I think, because like the highest paid minimum wage in America is DC, which is a minimum wage of $14 an hour, and that equals something like 30 something thousand a year. So yeah, man, you could always send an application to McDonald's in DC.
Yeah, no.
Like maybe you will get to flip some cheeseburgers for President Trump one day.
First, I'd be too busy insulting all the illegals to learn fucking
I don't think there is any illegals working at McDonald's. Yeah.
There are illegals fucking everywhere.
All right. All right, man. Let me ask you this: what would you do then if you didn't really need money and you had $1 million? Would you still do the same shit?
Go back to Ukraine.
Well, you don't need $1 million to live in Ukraine, that's for sure.
No, I wouldn't go there to live, just to go back, see the family, and then probably go live in Japan. Go live in that Osaka.
Why? What's your fascination with Japan?
That's a good place to live.
Uh,
I just go and waste like $500,000 trying to get some prime property in Akihabara.
in Akihabara?
Pay the nerd homage on a daily basis by, the Muslims, they have their, what the fuck is it called? Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Anime nerds have their Akihabara.
What is Akihabara?
It's just a world famous location in Tokyo.
Okay. So you would get some real estate in Akihabara in Tokyo.
Yeah, it's like in the middle of fucking Tokyo. It used to be called like Electric Town. Now it's Akihabara, where it's less focused on the selling of electronics and whatnot. It's just like the capital of anime and like old electronics as well. Like you want some old shit, like some Super Nintendo or whatever crap, like you'll find it there. You want like some anime or some hentai, you'll find it there. You want to go play arcade, you can go to that famous arcade that I went to as well.
Holy shit, man! Like I never thought that you would say that you wouldn't live a place, but like that. Isn't Tokyo obscenely expensive when it comes to property?
Yeah, that's why I said I'd probably waste like $500,000 just getting and securing property.
I don't even think that like $500,000 would do it. You would maybe like get some cottage of like 30 square feet or something.
Realistically, if I did have $1 million, no, I wouldn't live in that bar. No, that'd be too much.
Man,
It wouldn't be worth it. Like, it wouldn't be worth it to I can't buy. Okay, yeah, I've been there. That's great. I could go to Gundam Cafe again and get the Atheron Zala drink or something like that. But the novelty would wear off after a while.
you could come here and open up a pub with me.
Like, if I didn't have $1 million, I would go see you. I would just go around the world because then I wouldn't have to worry about the fucking hotel thing. But even if I did have billion, I would still would not use a fucking suite or whatever. So I've seen some videos on like some people that have been to suites, and I'm just like, if you're staying like there for like not even like a week, it's not worth it. Like, it is not fucking worth it. Like, have you seen some suites in some hotels? It's like a fucking house, or like a bigger than a goddamn condo. It's just like, no, why do you need this?
Well, it depends on like what kind of suite it is. Like I stayed in a suite with my girlfriend in Sweden, and
Like, if it has a fucking hallway, that is shit's too big and too expensive.
no, it was nothing like that. It was called a junior suite.
It has like a fucking jacuzzi. No,
Nah, no, like,
yeah.
nah, you know,
Like, if it costs over $80, the answer is fuck that.
it was
Oh,
in,
I'll just be like, over $80. I'll be like, nope.
we didn't get any like jacuzzis or anything like that, but it was just more space and like yeah, it wasn't really that much more priced than like a regular hotel room at these places. And then it was place for my son to like play around and throw shit around and stuff. So that was the reason for that.
Like, what I'm talking and thinking about is those egregiously like offensive ones that you're just looking at them and you can just tell, even without knowing the price, that the price was just too much and nobody needs that.
I wonder what
Like,
that.
like you might as well just buy property. Like I don't get it.
I wonder what that would cost in like places like
Somewhere,
Belarus.
like when like some people went somewhere and like you hear about some rich cuck, they're going somewhere and they live in like a suite and like they drop so much money there for like a few months, they might as well have just bought some cheap ass fucking house at that location, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Save money.
Yeah, for sure. That's weird. But like, what about going to hotels in these, like low-cost countries like Belarus, Azerbaijan, old Soviet states?
Also, to be honest, if I did have like several million, wouldn't be able to spend it all in my lifetime because I'm not a disgusting fucking piece of shit who would go out. And also, I'm also not retarded. Like, I would never do what those fucking people that win the lottery do. Oh my god, I got money. Just like lose all, just go ape shit and just fucking buy like a Lamborghini or buy a fucking mansion and then lose it all in less than a year because, taxes and bills and shit like that, and repair costs and taxes and some more taxes.
Well, I think like that goes for like most people that gets filthy rich fast, that they like lose their money because
Well, yeah,
like
that's like there's like a
uh,
stat for that. Like a majority of people that win like big in the lottery lose it all soon after because remember there was like even a study on it. Like there's people have bad habits, particularly when they live on a wage to wage. They have a habit of like they have the money, they have to spend it immediately. Like it becomes like I remember reading and that was like in psychology. It was kind of like that. Like they got it. They're so used to not having money because then whenever they have money, they have to put it somewhere like a bill, a follow up payment. Fix the car or fix the house or save it for some such or give it back to pay off a loan or something. So, and then all of a sudden they have all that money and they gotta put it somewhere. But
yeah,
they don't know
yeah.
where.
Got like a story for you there, man. Like my uncle's brother, um, he won like big in the lottery or like semi big. He won like $500,000, and within a year or two, he was broke.
And,
Kind of
what do you
crazy,
do?
right? Well, yeah. Well, he did like some smart shit like with it. He did pay off the mortgage loan on his house, Um, but then like this guy was like also an alcoholic, right?
So
So
he just upgraded his
no,
drinking habit.
no, he just continued. He continued. He continued that, but like all his friends would be that would be coming like and ask, you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah. Like they
like
come by and would be like, "Hey
yeah.
man,
Hey man, can I borrow 5K? Hey man, can I like borrow 10K? I got like some shit that I gotta take care of. Hey man, can I borrow like a few bucks? Uh,
if I did have money, I think the first things I would do is I have a friend who's I actually haven't spoke to in a while. He's poor.
yeah,
His parents are too. I'd bail him out.
you'd bail him out.
Like I'm sure he's not in debt or whatever, but I'd still I'd bail him out. If I had the money, I'd get him a place or something.
Yeah. Well, you are a kind soul, Mr. Victor. I gotta
What?
say, like, I don't know, like if it like you know like compared to like what I would do with money. Holy shit!
The way I see it is, I have less than like 15 friends.
Wow, like that you see on a regular basis.
No, just in general in life. Even if I don't see them, like a real friend is someone like, for example, like I'm like the guy I was saying who was poor. His name's Nathan. Like I haven't seen him. I think it's like almost been another year again. Like last time I didn't see him for over a year. He just came by one time, no call because his phone wasn't working at that time. He said, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, hey," gave a hug and just chilled like we didn't like day never passed because you're friends. I mean, it's not like time is gonna change anything. Still gonna be there.
Am I a friend?
Yeah, I'm actually because I can consider you a friend even though we haven't met face to face because I've actually talked to you more often right now than all of my other friends, even my best friend. But my best friend is still in the Navy. And, he has a kid too,
Oh,
got a wife, and
that's so
he's
sweet.
deployed again soon, so he's often deployed. So I mean, that's reasonable.
Well, like I've said before, man, you're welcome to visit here anytime. And also, then you can watch Thor, pick him up from daycare and shit.
You'd have to have a spare car.
I would have to have a spare car for you to come here. Yeah.
No, 'cause you realize if I came over there and
Yeah.
you want me to help you out, and
Yeah.
I would involve going somewhere,
Yeah.
already somewhere. Remember that. Your
Well,
wife is already somewhere. So how would I go to that somewhere?
walking or public transportation. Yeah, walking or public transportation or
Well, I guess that place that you're talking about is a lot closer than I'm thinking because,
or a bicycle. But like, what places are you thinking about?
okay, let's say, for example, I'm over there right now and you want me to pick up Tor.
Yeah.
You'd be okay with me picking up your child, your baby,
Yeah.
bicycle?
No, no. I assume you would walk. I mean, like
Really
it's
close by?
it's half a mile or so.
Oh, well, that's
Like
nothing.
a little more, like 3/4 of a mile or so.
I was thinking it'd be like something far
No.
because in my mind a few people I know that had daycare they didn't have like a daycare close by, but I guess that's like an American thing. Like,
Yeah.
you have to find a distinct daycare location and you have to be like typically it seems to be majority of daycares in the US are like a personal house that's slightly adapted and then owned or
Yeah, well, it's the same here. It's also like personal houses here, and then anyone can do it. Like even you could run a daycare in this country.
have like certifications and bullshit like
No,
that.
there's no certifications or anything. Well, maybe that you can like produce a crime-free record or something, right? Show that you're not a pervert or like having done some naughty stuff with children. If you can present that, then you're good. What?
People, technically, I'm not saying I condone this, but technically, I'm making kind of like a half-hearted joke here. Nobody likes kids more than pedophiles, technically speaking.
Yeah, but that would like be like
It's,
way
it's
way
like too much.
it would be way out of character to do that.
I'm just saying, like, if you want somebody who likes kids and wants to look after them, technically speaking, there's no finer people to go to.
Yeah,
Technically.
technically.
But yeah, nobody would fly for that though.
No. Hell no. No. Nah, screw that. Um I don't know, man. Like that's such a like I don't know, like it's also kind of like sad for pedophiles because I'm not sure if they can help themselves. That there's like something like fucking wrong, short circuited in their brains, right?
Technically, there should be because the way that the mind is supposed to work and the way the
Yeah.
brain is supposed to appreciate it is you hit puberty and then you go and you become interested into sex and they're the things that people are predetermined. It's in the brain, it's in the very fucking DNA, regardless of what retarded fat pieces of shit lard balls that pretend to be humans with feelings have to say about it, especially these retarded, dumb, fucking feminist fat bitches, regardless, and all these other fucking idiots. It's not about whether you're pretty on the inside and bullshit. It's about how healthy you look like. Cause no matter how much people lie or no matter how full of shit they are not gonna look at somebody with leprosy and be like, "Yeah, that person's sexy. I want to bang that person with leprosy." Or look at somebody with measles and 2 missing feet. Nobody's gonna look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, I want to
Yeah.
have sex." Nobody's gonna do that.
Speaking of that, what do you think of like the Jeffrey Epstein case?
Is that was the guy that was killed in jail, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and he shared, like
Us.
that
That was,
that whole
and
thing.
in quotations, wasn't coincidentally murdered.
Like
Yeah,
like I question if it was even a suicide. Because like he apparently hanged himself in the cell.
something big. He's then coincidentally just in that window when nobody's looking, he wants to off himself when
Yeah,
he had plenty of time beforehand. He just wants to do it when suddenly nobody's looking and nobody knows.
yeah.
He wants to kill himself suddenly.
Did you see a
No less no,
picture?
no less.
Did you see a picture of his cellmate?
No.
Like Google that up while we're talking, because like the dude he shared a cell with was like some huge tank man, like former NYPD police officer or something, super bodybuilder in jail for quadruple murder in New York City for a bad coke deal. And that was the cellmate to to Jeffrey. Um, like I just like think like there's like so much more under this case. Like the island that Prince Edward of England has also been involved and supposedly also been involved with some of these underage women or so, and doesn't and refuse to like cooperate or come to the America to talk with the FBI about it. And yeah, man.
Fuck, it was a unit. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dog. Dude, holy crap.
Holy
Like,
crap. That's messed up.
right there.
Yeah, and that was like the cellmate. Like, man, I would be terrified if that, if that was my cellmate.
That reminds me of what was it? My favorite comedian George Carlin when he was saying how like when you can't like for example take weapons or whatnot into a plane or shit like that.
No.
Yeah, you could have like a guy who comes in and his hands are the size of a dinner plate and he's a bodybuilder and he can just pop somebody's head like they do in video games.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Like you have somebody come in, they're a weapon by themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're the weapon. Yeah, that's
We
so
have somebody
crazy.
come in with corona and cough everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
man.
already mentioned that to you before, but I still think it would be hilarious to see like somebody do a comedy skit on like some dude trying to like rob a bank or something just by threatening to cough everywhere. I spend so much like my brother was like, you spend so much time thinking about it because it was like a passing comment and joke, and I started thinking about it some more and some more, and kind of like it built up in this entire plot line in my head of how funny it would be. You know, one thing leads to another, another thing leads to another, and all of a sudden you have like this dramatic cliche movie standoff, and the guy's unarmed. He has nothing except, you know, he's just certified with COVID, and he's threatening to cough and spit on people.
Yeah. Uh,
Except like he's like, I'm not gonna kill the hostage. I'm gonna spit on the hostage.
yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
escalate his threats.
That that will come, like comedy skits about that, but I don't think that they will come now because it's too serious. Maybe in a couple of years we will have like stand-up comedians joking about the
Yeah,
coronavirus in
that's
that
the
way.
thing. Like if you can't laugh about it, then what can you laugh about?
Yeah. Well, like that's the world, man. And the world
No, that's just
sometimes
those
is very
PC
offensive.
assholes.
What?
That's just people being PC assholes.
Yeah.
Laugh about this. This is not funny. But I'm a total hypocrite, and I think this is funny though.
Well, George Carlin was one of the great. I think he's dead. I'm not sure.
No, he's been dead for a while.
Yeah,
It's a
but
damn shame.
I like this like skit about global warming and so on. Um. Well, what else is there, man? Do you have anything else on your mind before we round this up?
Mm, not much. I mean, aside from. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you before. I think I already asked you before. There's nothing to do with this conversation, but that Call of Cthulhu detective game. You have that? You played it, right?
I gotta like check what you're talking about. The Cthulhu game. Do I
It's the
have it?
recent one.
What? Like a detective game with Cthulhu. Man,
Yeah,
that's.
this one.
Have you, by the way, like speaking about Cthulhu, have you ever tried to read any Lovecraft?
No, but like
Like,
what I've heard and seen about it, I have no interest whatsoever
like I
at all.
find I find the English that he's using highly, highly complicated.
No, for me, it's not complicated. It's just from what I've heard, like I've essentially read a summary and heard summaries of what it is. I've read like remember when I was in school, I read something from Lovecraft or one of the stories, and I read some shit from like Poe and whatnot, and I was just like, this is just too optimistic and so dreadfully positive. I couldn't stand it. It was too happy.
It was too
Like this is
happy.
horror. Like it's too outdated.
Uh-huh.
Like that's the way I see it. It's just too outdated. But
Uh,
it's a lot better and tasteful than some of the fucking garbage you see now. Like it's not like a 3,000 fucking body count and raining chainsaws and retards who don't know how to run in the opposite direction and other stupid shit like that. But it's not like better written. Like yeah, I'll give it that, but it's still kind of dated. I mean,
uh,
the only thing I can appreciate that some of the older horror stories have is like a buildup of tension and
yeah.
like of a setup, aside, and then like aside from that, it's kind of eh. Like there's, like writing was not like yeah, it was kind of a thing, but it's not as like after the printing press and all the other shit, and after modernization, and it was only in the last 100 years that writing became like a full-blown occupation that wasn't more of like a side gig unless you're exceptional or
Yeah.
exceptionally lucky. and now you have people that are great writers for a living, or all the other stuff. So you have a lot more interesting works now. So I just don't really care for it. I mean,
Yeah.
probably been great in back in the day, but now I just see it as kind of dated and kind of eh.
All right, I've been checking it out. I don't think that I've actually played it. You're talking about the sinking city, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mentioned it before.
yeah, I don't think that I've played it. Like I watched some gameplay videos and stuff, but that looks highly interesting.
Yeah, I thought you mentioned that you played it.
Yeah,
I
like
talked to you about one time, and I brought it up again later.
it could be that I like tried a demo or something of it.
Did you say I thought you said you played it with Marge was watching. Margaret was there.
No, we played like that other detective game. Remember what it was called? The one where you're dead and you gotta solve your own murder.
Murdered sole suspect.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I played with her, and some other like Sherlock Holmes ones.
So I have this game.
Yeah, you should try it, man. Anyways, oh man, there I got.
Actually, what's your profile? Let's see.
Yeah, there I got like really tired. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this episode up here, folks. To whoever's listening, of my 24 subscribers or 23 subscribers, I really appreciate you taking the time of the day or night to listening to On the Air with Patrick on the corner. Until next time, folks. Yeah.
Love ya.
Love
Bye bye.
y'all. Bye bye.